Hello everyone, welcome to AvgJoeWatchReviews. Today we're filming on location at one of my favorite lakes here in the Bucks County area, just 5 minutes from AvgJoe Studios. And it is a beautiful day today. For those that are new to the channel, I welcome you. My name is AvgJoe. Please hit that subscribe button and help support the AvgJoe family. Really what I wanted to showcase is today's watch, which is the Swiss watch company. And it's their diver. I'm gonna give you guys just a little bit of a rundown as to what this company is all about. So back in 1996, Stephen Romer, who is the founder of the Swiss watch company, actually started making watches for first responders and the armed forces. So that right there really struck my interest. But the other thing is, fast forward to today, they just recently did a Kickstarter campaign back in 2018 and just really started launching these diver watches that are absolutely insane in regards to their luminosity and also their quality and their movement. This watch company is based off of tradition. It is a complete family affair, and you've got father and sons working hand in hand producing these quality pieces. Now, the father was actually part of the Swatch group and used to live out in the Switzerland area, where he worked for companies such as the Omega Group. These watches are handcrafted by the family. They're using Solita movements, and they're also using the SW200 movements, all from Switzerland. Now, these are hand polished, which is awesome, hand assembled, and it just gives it that personal touch, especially coming from a family that really has a passion and also has a ton of really impressive experience from the Swatch group. So I definitely see some Omega pieces of this watch, including the scallop bezel, but also just the quality of the piece is really shines through. You could tell that this guy was in quality control, and it really does show. So awesome job there. And also stay tuned for my final thought at the end of the video as well. So with no further ado, let's dive into the review. So I'm excited to present to you a micro brand company, the Swiss watch company, and the watch that they sent over for review today. So I do want to tell you guys that they lent me this watch for review. They did not give it to me. So but either way, regardless of whether it's given to me, lent to me, I'm going to give you guys an honest review regardless. So let's just take that off the table right here. So material here, like a cross pattern. It's got a little bit of give to it, okay, but it's a nice case. And as we unzip it, we will find some nice velvety material. We've got the International Warranty Service card, and we actually have some curved lugs taped to the back. And this is for if you want to put like a leather strap on. It will definitely contour more to the watch. And let's just take this off for 1 second, because this is actually a double. You could actually It's like a double decker. You could actually put more watches in here to travel with. That's pretty nice. You can put some extra straps in here, sizing tools, whatever. A zipper compartment right here, and that's where we have some of the extra links. I love it when companies do the travel case as their packaging, because it's just such a practical function to that. Whereas, like, if you just get a ordinary box, you're just going to put that in your closet and you're going to be done with it. And so at least they give you something practical here, and I think that's really a nice touch. So we get into the watch itself, and as you can see, it's got a really clean presentation. And the first impression that I got as I took this watch out was, man, this thing feels like quality. And the first thing I did was I tried out the bezel action. Now right away I noticed that it had a scallop bezel. And I'm thinking to myself, definitely has some Omega Seamaster heritage here. But I'm not a fan of the scallop bezel because of this of the grippiness. There's not a lot of, these are harder to grip than a typical coin edge bezel, as you can see here on the Omega Seamaster. This one here, the grip is absolutely no problem. Here, surprisingly, this bezel is actually better than the Seamaster I used to own. But I'm not going to actually harp on the scallop bezel because you can turn it and it's not that bad. Like, I actually haven't had a problem turning this bezel, but in general, I don't like scallop bezels because there's, you know, it is a little bit harder to grip. I will say that. But if you get to know this watch, you'll know that if you can get it here, you'll never lose grip. But if you try to get it somewhere in this area, you're going to definitely slip at times. So you got to know how to work the bezel. But once you do get the bezel going, guys, take a listen to this. This is probably the most quality bezel I've ever felt. And I'm talking about even over my Seamaster here, this Planet Ocean. This has great bezel action itself, but man, this one is quieter, but it's also more engaging. You can feel it's a lot more feedback, and there's zero backplay with this bezel. Zero. Everything is exact, and man, there's no movement. We take a look at this bezel. There's actually a little bit of backplay. Luckily here we have a guy that used to work for Omega, and he's taken some of their secrets and put it into this watch, and man, the bezel action right away, I noticed that there was quality. There is a ceramic bezel insert that is a lighted pip, or should I say a lumed pip. And guys, this thing is a lume monster. I'm going to show you face to face, or head to head, with the Seamaster Planet Ocean, and I'm going to show you which one has better lume. The reason why this is such a lume monster is because these gentlemen put 20 layers of Super Luminova from Switzerland, Swiss Super Luminova, on each of the hour indicators, on the hands, and on the second hand and the pip. And guys, this thing lights the night up. And I have to admit, it does appear brighter than the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. You can see it's got a very pronounced crown guard, and it actually covers almost the entire crown itself, which is indeed a screw down crown. You would expect that from a diver being a 30 an automatic 30 ATM, and I'm going to put there what that is in feet. But this is definitely a true diver. They did not take any shortcuts here in regards to that. You could see some texturing on the dial itself. There's actually a square cutout, and there's basically like planks that go vertically up and down. Besides that, I mean, the whole dial is a matte finish. Even the inner bezel here, that's a matte finish. It's done in green. and it's like 100 green. This watch is very understated, and even the logo itself and even just the lettering, everything is just very, it's a lot smaller than what a lot of other companies would do. And I think it just goes along with the personality of the creators of this watch. These are really humble, very soft-spoken gentlemen. These are guys that are not very showy, and I think it really shows with this watch that they really focus not on. I mean, look, the design of the watch is nice. They definitely have a unique look to it that whenever I see these on Instagram, I know right away it's a Swiss watch company watch. So they definitely have their own branding for sure, but it's very understated. And the things that really stick out is what they want to be known for, which is their luminescence and really just the fact that this is a true tool watch. And I haven't even gotten into measurements here. Let's talk about measurements, because that's actually one of my downfalls of this watch. As I said, I got to be honest with my review, and this is pretty much a monstrous watch, even for my liking. So the dial, or the case itself, is a 44 millimeter. Out to the crown, which the crown really sticks out a lot, guys. We're looking at a 48 millimeters, okay? Huge. Now, we look at the case thickness, we're looking at 14, right about average. And then we look at lug to lug. We're gonna look at right at 49 millimeters. Now I have a 7-inch wrist, and I'm gonna show you guys how it fits on a 7-inch wrist. So here's a 44. This definitely dwarfs this watch for sure, and I just feel like the 42 fits much better on the wrist than this 44. But I have a Breitling, and this is the headwind, and this one is 43 millimeters, and yet I feel like the Swiss watch company watch it even looks like it dwarfs this, and there's only 1 millimeter difference here. So I just find that this watch is a little bit large, and it's definitely going to be meant for larger wrists. As you can see on my wrist, it does fit on there, but I just feel like there's just so much dial. I don't know. There's just something a little bit too large about it for me personally. So I'd like to see if they would maybe offer a 42 millimeter version. Then I think I would definitely be more inclined. And of course, if you guys could maybe do a coinage, even though the scallop does look better than a coinage, sometimes, like, it does definitely give it a cleaner look. It's just not as practical. Also, if you take a look at the bracelet is very, it's a quality bracelet. I mean, definitely some solid end links here. Definitely nice job on the brushing. As you can see, the brushing is done very well, and it is done by hand by one of the sons, and there is some polishing. So this is a 5-piece bracelet, and as you can see, the clasp itself is very substantial, milled. Okay. But look at this. This is probably the most substantial clasp I have ever seen. I mean, what's the thickness on that clasp, guys? That's a substantial clasp. Let's see. We're looking at, wow, 9 millimeters in thickness. Some watches are this thick. So, does it bother me? No, it doesn't bother me. Some people would, though. But it is very substantial. I mean, as you can see on the wrist, it's thick, but it's comfortable, and it does have the Swiss watch company and their logo right there with some brushing as well. Or you can even say diver's extension clasp right here. and it's definitely gives you that micro adjustment on the go. And you can see the mechanism for that is definitely quality. Let me get that in there. There we go. And you can see it's a quality engagement there. The back of the case back, they use a oil press to get this case back. All these little details, a lot of details. And they say this is actually better than the typical press, and I believe it. That's one of the things I've noticed about this watch was the detailing of the case back. Very nicely done. This is 43 out of 9.99. It does have, I believe it's 7 layers, or it might be 4 to 7 layers. I'll put down below the exact number. But definitely multiple layers of AR coating underneath the crystal here, which is sapphire. And it's different than what you see in brands like the Omega, where they actually have AR coating top and bottom. Now, there's advantages and disadvantages to this method. I know that as these watches get older, you can indeed scratch off the AR coating. And that's actually what has happened to my headwind. I have no more AR coating on the top of this bezel anymore. And therefore, it's just on the bottom or underneath. So there's definitely an advantage to it when the watch is newer, because you do get more anti-reflective properties. And as you can see, the blue tinge there, or the blue hint of light there, whereas you'll see just the regular lighting there. Whereas I don't think you'll ever really see a lot of reflection here. Whereas here you can definitely be blinded right there. There's really no blind spot here. So there's definitely an advantage. Now they do have a nice signed crown. It is a screw down, like I said, and you pop it out 2 positions and you have a very quality feel to the movement. And when it comes to date engagement, we will indeed see how it turns over and at what time it turns over. That's pretty impressive. And that was a nice, swift click. So that, I mean, I even felt that. It was good feedback. So definitely a quality feel to that. And it changed almost at 12 o'clock. So not bad there. And then changing the date. Very, 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 very quality. So nice job on that. And I'm actually going to show you guys something that you don't typically see in a review. I'm going to actually show you the movement, because, you know, obviously I would have wished to see an exhibition case back. So what is hiding? Like, I don't buy a car without opening up the hood. Same thing with a watch. I got to open up the hood and see what is under the hood. So we're going to find out what is under the hood of the Swiss Watch Company Diver. Okay, here we go, guys. Are you ready? Here it is. Very clean look. You can see that the rotor itself has beautiful brushing work on it. Now, I don't expect to see perlaging or anything like that. Very, very just conservative. But it doesn't look cheap. It looks like a quality movement. But just wanted to show you guys what was beating under the hood of this watch. And there you go. There is the balance wheel. And as you can see, it is indeed 26 joules, and it is Swiss made. So, and there's the sunburst effect on the inside of the case. And you guys can probably hear that. It is Mr. Softy in the background. Definitely brings back a lot of childhood memories for me. Living in the Philadelphia area as a child. Now I live in the outskirts. Hearing this always brings back good memories. So hopefully that audio is picking that up. So my final thoughts. I like the watch. I really do. It's a quality watch. And as I was presenting the watch, I have a tendency not to do a lot of research prior to, so it doesn't bias my judgment of the watch. And I really thought that this was a $1,000 watch or more as I was reviewing it. So being that I thought that, I have to say that I'm extremely impressed that you're paying you're paying just a tad under $500 for this piece. So that just goes to show you that you don't have to pay a ton of money to get quality. And when I'm comparing this particular watch's quality against Omega, who he has, the father, Mr. Romer, has worked for, that's pretty impressive, especially coming at a $500 price point. So I definitely have to give kudos where kudos is due. The only points that I would personally like to see changed, which I know they have with their new line, is a smaller watch. The current line they have, the sport watch, is a 41 millimeter. And that's pretty much what I would be looking for, something in the 41, 42 millimeter range. But if you guys like big watches, because this one actually is heavy as well, it is a little heavy. But I'll tell you what, I love the clean design. It's very clean and classy. The lume on it, absolutely incredible. I mean, even in murky waters, you're gonna see the lume shine through, no problem. Just a quality watch. But I just want to thank the Swiss Watch Company for allowing me to review the watch. I hate to give it back, but what can I say? I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to have this on loan, and I have enjoyed it, and I will continue to enjoy it for a little bit longer before I do give it back. Thanks again to the Swiss Watch Company for the opportunity. Guys, if you want to grab a hold of this watch, here's the link. I'll also include it below. And also, please don't forget to subscribe. It really helps to support the channel and helps me to bring cool watch brands, including these micro brands, to you. So please do so. I would really appreciate that. So until next time, there's always time to be kind to one another. Please take care of each other. I'm going to enjoy the lake. God bless, and I'll see you guys next time on Average Joe Watch Reviews.